Her is Minakshi Mataji, who is going to be facilitating the Sunday feast. Minakshi Mataji is here. Can we give a big round of applause to welcome Mataji? So, as Mataji makes her way here, I would like to briefly introduce her. So, Minakshi Mataji had the very good fortune of practicing Krishna consciousness from a very young age, practically from her birth, if I'm right. And she had a very unique opportunity to meet Srila Prabhupada when she was a child. So Mataji is blessed and fortunate to have had some personal interactions with Srila Prabhupada. Professionally, Mataji graduated from University of Toronto as a computer science graduate, and over the years she's held various responsibilities and services for the temple with us and across GT as well. But some of her key services includes the Shastradan program. So it's an annual initiative, part of the Sankirtan team, and Mataji drives this initiative. And she's also part of the Iskcon North American membership initiative, Prabhupada Foundation, and Friends of BBT. So there's a lot of areas Mataji helps and serves. We're very happy that she's going to be speaking today about the upcoming festivities of Sri Krishna Janmashtami. So let's once again give a round of applause to welcome Minakshi. Hare Krishna.
ज्ञानातिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानजनाशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी प्रजतादि सुतारिणे Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna everyone. Thank you for joining us this Sunday evening. We really appreciate your valuable time. How many of you can tell what we are celebrating next weekend? Yes, Sri Krishna Janamastami, the appearance day of Lord Krishna on this earth. And the next day, we are celebrating the appearance of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Actually, we are all gathered here today because of Srila Prabhupada. He established Iskcon. He established so many temples around the world. He published so many books on Vedic philosophy, the perfect process of devotional service. He traveled the globe 14 times in just 12 years to preach to us, to teach us, to inspire us. And what was Srila Prabhupada's ultimate intent when he established Iskcon? Iskcon means the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So he wanted to welcome people from all backgrounds, that means international, to understand and be devoted to Krishna. Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It was not about goodness, about religion, or even God consciousness, but Krishna consciousness, very specific. There are actually many misconceptions about God. Some people claim there is no God. Some people claim they are God. Some people claim that we're all God, right? And some people claim, well, this personality or that personality is God. But Srila Prabhupada came to the West and traveled the world to disseminate the actual truth about who is God, based on the Vedic scriptures from time immemorial, not making things up along the way, but presenting Vedic philosophy as it is from the Upanishads, from the Puranas, from the Bhagavad Gita, from the Srimad Bhagavatam, without compromise, without change, without dilution. So who is Krishna? Why do we worship Krishna instead of the demigods or some other personality? Well, Krishna himself states, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mataha sarva pravartate iti mata bhajante mam buddhavava samam vitaha. That I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all of their hearts. So just let that register for a moment, what Krishna is saying himself. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the origin of everything that exists in the world, spiritual and material. There should be no confusion, no concoction, that what to speak of someone saying there is no God or claiming to be God, etc. The scriptures actually tell us that Krishna is God and that even Brahma and Shiva and all the demigods are not God. Rather, the Upanishads and Puranas say that Krishna is the ultimate source of Brahma, Shiva, the demigods, and all that exists. For example, in the Maha Upanishad, it is stated that in the beginning of creation, there was only the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There was no Brahma, no Shiva, no water, no fire, no heaven, no stars, no sun, no sky. In the Varaha Purana, it is stated that Narayan the supreme personality of Godhead, and from him Brahma is born, from whom Shiva is born. So we must understand that Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead, expands. He expands into plenary portions, parts of plenary portions. He comes in various incarnations and comes at different times for different purposes. But the origin is Krishna. He is the source. He is the creator of everything. No one is equal or greater than him. Ekajamsha kale pumsha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indriya Kulam Lokam Ridyanti Yuge Yuge. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. That Krishna, you are the actual Bhagavan in person. Bhagavan means supreme authority. And all other incarnations and expansions come from Krishna, who possesses 100% all authority, all absolute truth, all opulence, all wealth, all strength, all beauty, all renunciation. Expansions and incarnations have some percent, but Krishna possesses them in their fullest with the most unlimited capacity. And the demigods themselves declare that Krishna is the supreme, that they depend on him to execute and perform their services. In fact, in the Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma has a multitude of prayers, and he finishes each verse with Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship that Govinda, who is the primeval Lord. Govinda, Narayan, these are all names of Krishna. Krishna has unlimited names. And he starts the Brahma Samhita by saying, Ishvara Parama Krishna, that Krishna is the topmost controller. And Lord Brahma further describes, he says, I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, whose lotus feet are always held by Ganesh upon the pair of tumuli that are protruding from his elephant head, in order to obtain power for his function of destroying all obstacles on the path of progress in these three worlds. So Ganesh, the elephant-headed great personality, who removes all obstacles, who wrote so many scriptures, he gets his power, his authority from Lord Krishna's lotus feet resting on his head. And in the same Brahma Samhita, Durga's position is also described. That although she is worshipped by so many people in the world, though she has so much power, though she single-handedly is the creator, maintainer, and destroyer of the mundane world, she does not do so independently. She does it according to the will, according to the desire of the Supreme Lord. And Lord Shiva himself also offers prayers to Lord Krishna. In the Padma Purana, he says to the goddess Parvati, Aradhananam Sarvesham Vishnu Aradhanam Param. He says of all the worships, of all the sacrifices, of all the pujas, Aradhanam Vishnu Param, the worship of Sri Krishna or Sri Vishnu is topmost. And further, in the Bhagavad Purana, Lord Shiva offers wonderful prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He says, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you in your expansion as Lord Sankarshan. You are the reservoir of all transcendental qualities. Although you are unlimited, you remain unmanifest to the non-devotees. You are the only worshipable person. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the reservoir of all opulences. Your secure lotus feet are the only source of protection for all your devotees, whom you satisfy by manifesting yourself in various forms. O my Lord, you deliver your devotees from the clutches of material existence. Non-devotees, however, remain entangled in material existence. Kindly accept me as your eternal servant. So in these very summarized prayers by Lord Shiva, he encapsulates everything. That Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the security and protector of his devotees. He is the maintainer and the creator of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that Lord Shiva himself is his eternal servant. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the final canto, the final chapter of the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, Sutta Goswami says, unto that personality who Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Rudra, and the Maruts praise by chanting transcendental hymns and reciting the Vedas with all their correlates, Padma Puranas, and Upanishads, to whom the chanters of the Sama Veda always sing, who perfected yogis see within their minds after fixing themselves in trance and absorbing themselves within him, and whose limit can never be found by any demigod or demon. Unto that Supreme Personality I offer my humble obeisances. So we should understand that Krishna is the Supreme Controller. He is the Supreme Enjoyer. He does not have to do anything, any tasks himself. He has demigods to take on those responsibilities and perform those services. Just like a prime minister has many ministers who are responsible for various ministries, be it education, culture, education, military, and so on. But although the demigods have so much power, they do so in the service of Krishna, who is telling them to do these things and who is giving them that power. And as Vaishnavas, we offer the utmost respect to the demigods, but we also understand their position relative to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the wonderful thing is that when we serve Krishna, when we pray to Krishna, when we glorify him, we are taking care of and satisfying the demigods as well. We don't have to pray and serve each one individually. Narad Muni actually describes this very nicely. He says that as pouring water on the root of the tree energizes the trunk, the branches, the twigs, etc., and similarly, supplying food to the stomach enlivens the senses and the limbs. Similarly, worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead through devotional service automatically satisfies the demigods. So Narad Muni is describing here with very good examples that when we want to keep a tree alive and nourished, we don't go and water the leaves and the branches. Does any of us do that? I've never seen it, but nobody does that, right? And also, when our limbs and our body is tired, doing so much work, we don't take prasadam and feed the arm, the leg, etc. individually. We feed the stomach through the mouth, and in that way, the entire body is nourished and maintained. So simply by worshiping Krishna through loving devotional service, we satisfy the demigods. So then many people may be searching, well, who is God? People ask, who is God? Who is the Supreme? Why am I even here on this earth? What is my purpose? Those are all very good questions. Well, Krishna himself gives us that information time and time again. For example, in the Bhagavad Gita, he says, I am the goal, the maintainer, the master, the witness, the abode, the refuge, and the most dear friend. I am the creator. I am the annihilation, the basis of everything, the resting place, and eternal seat. There is no truth superior than me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. When you see a necklace, you don't necessarily see thread, right? But all those pearls, all those beads are actually resting on that thread. And just like, if you want to know who your father is, you go to your mother. You don't go to a bunch of random people. It is the mother who can tell you who the father is. And similarly, if we want to know who is the Supreme Father, who is God, we go to the Vedic scriptures, the Vedic knowledge, which is like the mother, that tells us that indeed Krishna is the Supreme Father. And Krishna himself actually gives us information to us for our benefit, because we are like lost children who have forgotten who we are, where we come from. And he wants us to come back to him and be happy. Now, another point that's very important is that as we celebrate Janmashtami this upcoming weekend, we are celebrating his appearance on this earth 5,000 years ago. But actually, Krishna has always existed. Never was there a time when he didn't exist. Never will there be a time when he will not exist. Yo Amajal Nantinja, Vedi Loka Maheshwara, Asamuda Saradishu, Sarapate Pramuchate, that he who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the supreme Lord of all three worlds, he, undiluted among men, is freed from all sins. So then one can ask, well, why did Krishna appear 5,000 years ago? So he's a supreme Lord, he has the demigods, he's sitting in his abode. Why did he have to appear on the earth? Well, the scriptures and shastras tell us that Krishna, or his incarnations, or expansions, do appear from time to time to teach us, to tell us why we're here, to bring us back home, back to Godhead. And the reasons for his appearance on this earth are described as well and explained. For example, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Jiva Goswami says that when the Lord assumes a human-like body to show mercy to his devotees, he engages in such pastimes as will attract those who hear about them to become dedicated to him. So the Lord descends into this world in his original two-handed form out of his kindness. He manifests that form so that us conditioned souls in human society can perceive him, can understand him, can become attracted to him. And of course, we all know the famous verses in the Bhagavad Gita, Yada Idahi Dharmasha Glanir Bhavati Bharata, that whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion. I myself appear millennium after millennium, yuge, yuge. So his appearance is his mercy to us. He came to annihilate the demons that had permeated the earth and give pleasure to the devotees. He came to restore dharma, or the righteous way of living, to mitigate adharma, or unrighteousness. He came to dispel ignorance. He came to enact his leelas, his wonderful pastimes, to attract devotees to turn back to him. He came to help us understand what it is that we're here for, what it is that we really want, what it is that we really need, what is the true treasure in this life. Because we're all trying to pursue happiness, right? Everybody wants to be happy, right? We're all trying to pursue some sort of pleasure. But what happens? At every step, we find pain, suffering, frustration, right? Because at every step, the soul actually wants to become happy. But cannot be happy in this temporary, miserable situation of the material world. No matter what we try to accomplish, however we try to situate ourselves, career-wise, educational-wise, wealth-wise, etc., we must still go through birth, death, old age, and disease. And all of us are experiencing that or have seen that, right? You're seeing people getting older, people getting weaker, gray hairs coming, but yet we're so proud. We have so much ego that we're still trying to enjoy this temporary material existence. We're thinking, oh yeah, I'll do this, I'll plan that. But time goes by so fast, 50, 70, 90 years, life is gone. So therefore, this greed, this lust, this envy, this jealousy, this gossiping, this desire for fame, and so on, just gets us more and more entangled in misery instead of happiness. So the Lord descends to help us understand that this human form of life has a higher purpose. That the actual goal of the soul is to be connected to Krishna. That our soul is part and parcel of Krishna. And that we have forgotten that connection, that relationship. So we should really take to heart what Krishna came to tell us, what he sent various acharyas and Srila Prabhupada to tell us, that the only way out of this misery is to connect to Krishna. That we are suffering because we have turned away from Krishna. We decided to go our own way, thinking that we can enjoy separately from him. And remember that Krishna only appears in his original two-handed form every 8,600,000,000 years, or one day of Lord Brahma. So, as we're celebrating this upcoming Janmashtami, we should realize that we're actually so very fortunate that Krishna appeared only 5,000 years ago. What is 5,000 years relative to over 8 billion years? It's like a speck of sand, relatively speaking, right? And he came in his original two-handed form to attract us with his most attractive Goloka Vrindavan pastimes. But we must understand that when he came and when he comes, he does not come in a material, ordinary human body like ours. His form, his body is eternal. It is full of bliss. It is transcendental. It is without beginning. Such Ananda Vigraha. It is not material like ours. Krishna, at the age of only 6 days old, he killed Putana. At the age of 3 months, he killed a cart demon, Shakatasura. And at 7 years, 2 months, he lifted the mountainous Govardhan hill on the pinky of his left hand. Which of us can do that? Even the most powerful mystics cannot do that. And Krishna's body never grows old. It is always that of a youthful young man. Even when he was on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, materially speaking, he was over 100 years old, but he looked like a youthful young man. Actually, Krishna's appearance is transcendental. Srila Prabhupada gives a very nice example of the sun. That just like when the sun appears in our vision to us, it doesn't mean that the sun has suddenly been born. It just appears in our hemisphere, right? Similarly, when the sun sets in the west, it doesn't mean that the sun is forever gone. It just means that it is out of our vision. So similarly, when Krishna descends and appears in our vision, he does not actually take birth. Now one may say, well, didn't he take birth to Devi and Vasudeva? What is that about? How is he unborn? Well, this is also described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, that the Lord appeared in front of Devi and Vasudeva in his original form, and then converted back to a seemingly ordinary child. When Krishna appears in this world, he appears with his sweetness, with his pastimes, to attract our heart, not with this grandness and this power. He acts like an ordinary child, so that just like a parent who becomes very attracted to their child and their antics, he appears in that way so that we can also feel that role and become attracted to him as well, so that we forget his power, his superiority. Who would not be attracted to his wonderful pastimes, his sweet pastimes with the gopis, his stealing of the butter, his eating mud and opening his mouth to slay the entire universe, his being chased by Mother Yashoda, he playing with the cowherd boys, he chasing a ball into the Yamuna River, his dancing on Kaliya, and so much more. Krishna does not demand her love. He does not say that you must bow down to me, otherwise I'm going to slay you. No, he tries to attract us, to coax us back like a loving father whose child has run away. He's trying to bring us back so that we can understand that the only security, the only protection, the only happiness is in his shelter. Because we are like lost children who have gone after shiny baubles and vices in this material world, thinking that that will make us happy. So rather, Krishna guides us with his instructions and sends messengers like Srila Prabhupada with the knowledge, with the process of bhakti yoga, and of course attracts us with his wonderful pastimes. The pastimes of Lord Krishna, the glories of Lord Krishna, the narrations of Lord Krishna, the Krishna's abode, Krishna's paraphernalia, Krishna's associates, Krishna's friends, they are all there to purify our consciousness. And they are ever fresh. One never gets tired about hearing about the pastimes, about the glories of Lord Krishna and speaking about them. And actually, if you think about it, Krishna does not need our money. He does not need our offerings. He is the proprietor of everything. He has everything. But what does he say? Offer me with love, even a leaf, flower, and water. Why? To indicate the loving gesture behind the offering, the devotion and love for him. That is what captures him. That love that we show for him. That's what connects us to him. That's what builds our relationship with him. Krishna is the supreme controller, yet he comes under the control of his devotees because of their pure, unmotivated, loving, devotional service to him. He gets captured by the gopis and the cowherd boys when they show true love to him. He gets captured by Mother Yashoda's love, that he even agreed to be bound by her robes. So the natural state of our souls is to be attracted to Krishna. But we have lost our position because we have been fascinated with this material world. And Srila Prabhupada has given us the best way to rectify that. And what is that way? To re-establish our relationship with the Lord. It is the process of bhakti, to be sincerely devoted to Lord Krishna, to practice our sadhana on a practical basis daily. And how do we do that? We can chant meditatively on japa beads. We can chant loudly in the association of others, that is called kirtan. We can read books that Srila Prabhupada has given us, like the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Srimad Bhagavatam is the actual ultimate self-help book for all of us, for our families, for our children. It's full of information about the universe, about creation, about morality, about Krishna's pastimes and his incarnations, about our position in the universe, and so much more. It is full of nectar and ever fresh. We can spend time in the association of devotees who are also on the path of devotional service. We can serve the Vaishnavas. Krishna becomes very happy when we serve the Vaishnavas. We can do seva at the temple. All of this helps us advance in Krishna consciousness. And by practicing devotional service with sincerity, when we absorb ourselves in Krishna consciousness, we will find ourselves giving up those bad habits, giving up material pursuits. We will see that we're actually purifying our heart, our mind, transforming our consciousness. We will develop a higher taste. And when we turn back to Krishna, instead of our backs to Krishna, when we serve Him, who is the supreme enjoyer, we will find that we actually become happy. It's almost magical. And this is assured to us in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It says that for those who are wandering in the material universe, there is no more auspicious means of deliverance than what is aimed at in the direct devotional service to Lord Krishna. It is therefore essential that every human being hear about, glorify, and remember the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, always and everywhere. And those who drink through oral reception, fully filled with the nectarian message of Lord Krishna, the beloved of the devotees, purify the polluted aim of life, known as material enjoyment, and thus go back home, back to Godhead, to the lotus feet of Him, the personality of Godhead. So this process of bhakti yoga is the only way to re-establish our connection to Krishna in Kali Yuga, in the age that we're living in right now. The process includes hearing, chanting, glorifying, remembering the Lord. And in this way, we can end our cycle of misery and go back home, back to Godhead. And this is assured that through our sincere endeavors, through our diligence, through our sincerity, that Krishna will reciprocate with His mercy. Krishna gives us His personal guarantee, His personal promise. Just imagine, Krishna is giving you His personal promise. Better than any of those warranties in the world, right? He says, Man mana baba mad bhakto ma jaji ma namaskaru ma vanisyasi satyam te prajati priyo sime. That always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. So, as we approach the Lord's appearance, Sri Krishna Janmashtami, we humbly request that you please transform your consciousness. Please turn yourselves towards Krishna. Make your lives Krishna-centric. Change the daily habits of your life and become His sincere devotee. And this way, I assure you, your lives will become sublime. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Thank you so much, Mother Minakshi. Can we give a bigger round of applause to Mataji for such a beautiful work for the upcoming festivities of Sri Krishna Janmashtami? As Mataji said, use this opportunity to transform your lives and transform your hearts. Mataji is part of the Sankirtan team, doing that all year long by distributing books of Srila Prabhupada, which has helped transform many people's lives. And she's a great example in our community in helping and guiding others in taking up Krishna consciousness. So thank you again, Mataji, for a beautiful class. We're going to have another member from the Sankirtan team, Harish Shamoyini Mataji, as she makes her way here. I just want to let you all know the upcoming month is a special month with a lot of festivities, and one of them is called the Bhadra Purnima, and Mataji is here to educate us and enlighten us about this upcoming event.